you are at the point where you're saying that indeed when you're abortioning claim to whatever proclaims you're going here, we should look back at who put him there. Should we start from there then?
Yes, and I think we can trace our steps back to before this government took over. Their opinion and their point in terms of what media role should be was different, and they thought that they are on the losing side.
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
But then there is a difference between what you perceive and the correct position.
Okay.
And of course, we know and we understand media is owned by persons. That notwithstanding, there are the conducts and the roles and the responsibility that the media personality have. Even in expressing themselves, there are some guidelines that they should conduct themselves under. And when anyone feels aggrieved by the operations of the media house, there are their channels to be followed. But I think this, as I said, this is a systemic problem.
Yes.
Where every time a government in power, anytime they hear a negative criticism from the media, they are up in arms to either completely crush the media or either paint the media in the wrong name. I agree, sometimes we can have inappropriate elements in the media. The best way to deal with it is not to generalize the issue. What you see, the report and the news, the report, it was an issue specific. So the best defense ought to have been to be specific on the issues raised. If they are saying this was imported, you are the CS. Bring evidence that there was no such things, so that then the people that are listening to you can objectively discern what is being aired. But when somebody says, Elijah, you stole 200 shillings, and you're saying, I saw your mother being beaten. I mean, it is just not, it is not just contextual.
Yes.
Every person, when an issue happens, let us deal with the issue at hand. When the media is wrong in reporting, bring the fact and prosecute it in the right channels. But when they say the right thing, the best thing to do is not to victimize them and to call them names, even when that is not a deserved response. When we are discussing, and when in law, when you're discussing the issue of defense and whatnot, it is a rule that when somebody comes to attack you with a knife, Elijah, you cannot take AK-47 to attack them. The amount of response should equate the amount of attack.
Gaza.
The attack was factual. This was imported. This amount of money was lost. The best response ought to have been
on the facts
on
of
the
story.
facts that are being raised.
Yes.
So that even the people who are judging, at the end of the day, Kenyans will judge. But when we start hurling insults without proving the facts issued, if the issue was the CS being involved in immoral conduct, it would be justified for him to give an immoral implication, an immoral intimation to whatever was said. But this is a factual issue. Today's nation, tomorrow is Look Up TV. They want to educate the media. They want the people aware of what is happening. If they report on an issue, let us have a substantive response on the issue, so that if it is wrong, it is corrected. If it is right, the wrong party is punished accordingly. But when we start attacking characters instead of addressing issues, that's where we get it wrong. And I'm saying this is a systematic issue that, unfortunately, even some of the leaders we expect to demonstrate leadership in dealing with the issues, they are taking sides without really giving us a substantive response to the issues raised.
Pretty much.
It is the Kenyans' money that has been lost. The best that would have been, it is to defend the Kenyans' money, not really Moses Kuria, because the person occupying the office can be anyone. But if they are allowed to get away with their conduct, just because they are individuals with characters that they can insult anyone, they can step on anyone without taking account and asking them to account for their conduct.
Does it?
I think we get it wrong.
Pretty much.
We get it wrong.
But let me throw you into the conversation like this. Now, I want to take you back to the 4th of June this year. I mean, even when I'll take you back again to what was said during the campaigns. This is from the president, the appointing power then, who gave Moses Kuria this job. This is what he said. Sometimes, and this is quote by quote, sometimes we try to understand the media supported a different candidate in the 2022 presidential and their candidate lost. Once the election is over, we should be democratic to say I supported a different candidate, but since this character won, I don't like him very much, but because it is democracy, let us support what is positive and good for the country and oppose when it is necessary. Continues, I've got no issue, Ruto said when asked about his view on the media. And that's just the 4th of June, this month then. Couple of days later, Moses Kuria comes and talks about this. Now, let me put you on the spot. Why are you afraid, Ben, to actually claim right here on national television that indeed, when a CS that you have appointed comes in and says is going to fire the officials that you, as the president, appointed, he has overstepped his function. And so the best thing for you to do as the president is to call it immediately, Ben.
You know, it is very hard for me to comment about the leadership of Kenya Kwanza. We had presidents who used to say we are going to build houses, they would build houses. We had presidents who used to say we are going to build roads, they would build roads. We had presidents who said things that would happen and they happened. Now you're telling me to comment about a president who said by December mwaka huu kila Mkenya atakuwa na bima ya afya. How many of you have it? And HIF is collapsing. The same president had promised us some 5 stadia some time back. Still waiting for them. The same president akatuambia bei ya gas itashuka itakuwa shilingi 300. Then he told us ni mtungi ya gas, sio gas. When he was campaigning, he told us hautakuwa unasumbuliwa na credit tu, utakuwa unapiga unaongea na simu mpaka unachoka. You remember those campaign promises?
Yes.
The cost of airtime has gone up. The president who told us that the cost of electricity will not go high. And I like these things because they are verifiable, they are visible, they are available. All these clips are available of him telling us that even the cost of electricity will not go up. It has just gone up. Now with 100 shillings, I don't know how much units you can get.
Yes.
The same president who came and told boda riders that soon they'll have electric bikes. And I know it's going to change mtambua. Sio bike tulikuwa tunasema ni hiyo mguu yako. It is the same nation that, the same hustler nation that told us about Mama Mboga. I hear that has changed now, it's Mama Bogwa. So for me, if you tell me to have a conversation about what the president said about the media, I have got that history in my mind of promises that have been made and not kept.
Yes.
And Kenyans cheered. I remember at KICC he repeated, wacha nirudie hiyo.
Yes.
And he spoke about gas again. Now for him to come and tell us, ni mutungi ya gas, sio gas. And for actually the prices of LPG, because they will go up.
They will
literally,
go up, isn't it? Yeah.
This parliament has just approved 16% on petroleum.
Yeah.
So what the hustler nation doesn't understand is that petroleum includes cooking gas, ambayo waliambiwa itakuwa 300, then wakaambiwa ni mutungi, sasa imebadilika, sasa ni 16% VAT on that, so it's actually going to be more expensive. So I cannot comment on a president who gives such promises during the day.
But on this one, Ben,
on the media,
this one,
you see,
on this one.
Let me tell you,
yes,
what
Ben.
I'm trying to say is this.
Yes.
If your girlfriend has told you 10 times that alikuwa chama, and then you've established that hakuwa chama, alikuwa mahali pengine, she comes the 11th time and tells you, hata leo nilikuwa chama. The problem is not your girlfriend, it is you, who is believing for the 11th time that she's telling you alikuwa chama, and you know hakuwa chama.
Yeah, but it's a different scenario.
So when
now,
he
Ben.
says,
yes.
Let me tell you,
yes.
anything my president says, and I'm sorry to say this on national TV,
yes.
anything on my president says, I only believe if it happens, and when I see it happen. If he tells you there's guarantee of media freedom,
yes,
I'll wait for it to happen. If he tells you he doesn't like the media,
yes,
so anything he says, for me, I wait for its implementation.
Do you consider it a disrespect for Moses Kuria to say he's going to fire any government official who works with NTV, and that disrespect to the appointing forces, including the president?
I think we are losing it as a country. We are giving so much airtime to someone who doesn't deserve it.
But let's give it to the president then.
The next person is his appointing authority also has allowed us to spend so much critical airtime on a person and an entity that is not worthy of it. This nation has bigger problems. And our problems would end if we replaced this person with somebody who is worthy of our airtime. Because then when you get a worthy cabinet secretary for trade, today we would be having conversations of how he's gone to Bulgaria and come with investors, how he's gone to France and come with investors, how he's gone to this place and come with investors, how he has lowered the cost of a simple investor like someone who wants to open a butchery, because that's an investor. When you have the right trade CS, you have the right conversations going on across all media stations. Because then the conversations become, have you heard that Peugeot is setting up in Kawangware? Have you heard that Chrysler is setting up in this place? Have you heard that the guys who were making, because like right now, most of these interesting fast food outlets are having their fries, for example, coming from other countries, you know, even chicken.
To them.
So the conversation should have been, how do we do what Egypt is doing right so that our potatoes can now start selling at KFC? So when you have the right minister for trade, that's why I'm telling you we have a problem and we are addressing the wrong problem.
But who's going to change
him? When you have the right minister for trade,
who's going to change him? Yes,
when you have the right minister for trade, you will have the right conversation. The right conversation will be, we are now making BMW tires in the country. We are now making shoes in the country. We are now turning our leather because you have the right minister for trade. He's taking you in the right direction. But what conversation are you having? How Kenya is going to import cooking oil and we have it? How Kenya is going to import rice and it's rotting in Mwea? How Kenya is going to import every other thing, jerry cans, kwanza mikebe na tunatengeneza mingi hapa industrial area. And it's coming. In fact, I wish it was even coming containerized in a whole, you know, like the way they bring syrups for the soda and everything. But tumeletewa sasa even more plastic waste to deal with in this. I mean, one of them here is being told to bring how many jerry cans? Someone is being told to bring 350,000 jerry cans. We are actually even importing garbage in this country. Because now when you're done with 350,000 plastic jerry cans, now that's even garbage you're introducing into this nation from another place. So as long as you have the wrong minister for trade, you will have the wrong conversation as a nation.
Good. Then Ben, why are you not telling your president this? Then you're getting disrespected.
He's
Get
listening.
the guy out of office.
He's listening. He has his people. They are watching this show, I can tell you, and many others that we go on to.
Paul, what would have been the first reaction for the president? And is there something that you guys are afraid to say on air, that indeed Moses Kuria can say whatever he wants, and even the guy who gave him that job knew very well Moses Kuria is a wild dog, so he might bite even if I've given him instructions